believe in Moses. Yes, you are supposed to believe in Moses and the Torah.
You don't have
but we see that Moses himself, the law was given, right? But also as part of that, but when there was atonement for sin, we see that a lamb without blemish had to be killed.
I'm not sure what you're describing. You're going to describe me how your God can forgive better than I can.
Yes, he forgives because he's a perfect just God, which requires that sin must be...
what is forgiveness?
No, listen to me.
I don't think you understood what forgiveness is.
No, listen to me. Will you let me speak?
But can you just explain what forgiveness is and then...
Okay, when you're ready to have a conversation, come and get me. But you cannot interrupt me.
Go ahead.
Don't
He will
interrupt
not let you speak, I know him.
He's not going to let me speak. Can you possibly give me some time to speak? Okay? So perfect justice requires that sin is paid for, right? But this is where the God of the Christian God is superior. The God of Abraham, the God of Moses, the God of Isaiah, the God of the prophets, and Jesus Christ is perfect because he says a perfect God that says sin must be paid for, but yet a perfectly loving God that says I will take that sin upon myself. Which is different from Allah, who just allows people to sin, even according to your own hadith. Even if somebody went and raped a woman, they can go into heaven. So it allows sin to just go without punishment, without repentance. So according to this Christian scripture, and this is where the gospel comes in, perfect justice requires sin must be paid for. But Jesus Christ, in his perfect love, takes that sin upon himself so that we don't deserve. We don't deserve the love of God. We don't deserve salvation because we're all sinners. But God in his perfect justice and his perfect wisdom takes that sin upon himself. And we, by accepting him and repenting and accepting that love he has for us, then we have access to salvation. So that's the message.
So you just basically you just preached. Like, I didn't ask you to preach anything. I simply said, I gave you a scenario. When you kill my brother, now without me demanding any penalty from you, as a system of retribution, that you get killed in return, or you get fined, or put in prison, or someone else does it on your behalf. I said, look, what if I forgive you? I'm not demanding any of that. I simply say, let go. I simply let go of any punishment. Yeah. I simply say, I forgive you. Now, that kind of forgiveness is what I understand to be forgiveness. And I asked you, can your God, in your belief system, forgive better than I can? Instead of answering the question, you went into a preaching mode and talk about the Torah and the Bible and Christ and this and this. No, this is preaching. Now tell me, in your response, did you demonstrate in any way, shape or form that your God can forgive better than I could?
Okay, so on the scenario you gave me the scenario if I did something wrong.
No, I just thought, this is a discussion I just followed on. Yeah. There was a brother here. I said, if you kill my brother,
yes.
Now instead of demanding a payment back because you did something wrong, right?
Then you forgive.
Because justice demands you should be paying something, right? Being punished.
But
so if now the family forgives you, because he's dead, he can't forgive you, right?
Yeah.
The family forgives you and saying, we don't want anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, can your God forgive better than that is the question.
Okay, so I'm going to put it back on you to say, if somebody killed your wife...
Excuse me. Don't give me another question.
No.
I'm not going to entertain that.
Yes,
I'm not going to entertain that.
I'm going to answer you because if somebody kills your wife, but yet gets away with that, is that justice?
Listen.
So to answer your question, if you forgave somebody without requirement that it's paid for, then that's injustice.
What I was asking.
Remember, God is the perfect, just God.
What you didn't realize is I was asking about the concept of
without
forgiveness.
No consequence.
Remember what I said earlier on when the other friend was there? I said in Christianity, I can challenge you right here, you don't believe in forgiveness at all. You believe in payment. Forgiveness is not requiring payment. Do you accept that?
No, for forgiveness, how do you marry? Okay.
No. What?
Wait,
okay.
Wait,
please
Mansur, let
define
me
forgiveness. I've been asking you so many times. Okay. What is forgiveness?
You've just defined an example.
No, I'm not going to define. I'm going to ask you to define it.
Defined an example of forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes.
Could you define? Could you define forgiveness?
What you've said is forgiveness. I agree with you.
Yes,
I agree with you. But it's
what?
It's unjust. What you just said.
Can God forgive like that?
No, because He's just.
So He cannot forgive.
He is perfectly just. He can forgive, But he cannot forgive outside
How can
of
he
justice.
forgive when he cannot do that?
Mansur.
You just said.
Mansur.
One moment.
Mansur,
Did
give
you
me
not?
time to respond.
You will have time to respond.
I don't want you to.
No, you
answer
will
my
have time to
question. I've got a
respond.
question. I've answered your question. You need to
Listen.
answer my question.
Slow down. You accepted.
Mansur, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
Justice and mercy.
You
I want to interrupt
accepted.
you. I want to interrupt
Do
you.
interrupt.
Please.
You accepted
Please,
the
can I ask you-
definition. You accepted the definition of forgiveness where there is no payment required. Is your God capable of showing forgiveness like this? You say no. That means your God doesn't show forgiveness because that's the definition that you're working on. Okay. Give me a definition of forgiveness which you can work
Before I
on.
carry on, can we just say, let's be fair. You've asked me to be fair. So when you ask me a question, I answer you. I ask you a question, I want you to answer my question.
Go ahead, no problem.
Is that okay?
Okay.
So you've asked me a question.
Please
I
answer.
believe I've responded.
No, you haven't.
I can respond again.
Can you now,
Ask
first
it
of
again.
all, question is this. Do you believe in the forgiveness from God, that God can forgive?
Okay, so can we do one question for one question?
No, this is the question that I'm going to now formulate to you, step by step. So the question is one
So if I answer
theme.
you, can you then I'm gonna answer your question, right? And then I also want you to answer
On
my
the same
question.
topic, no problem.
On the same topic. Okay.
So now, forgiveness.
Brilliant.
In Islam, God can forgive someone without putting them or showing them, making them suffer any punishment. God can simply forgive them. Because He is
Allah is
all
unjust.
forgiving. No, because He is all merciful and all forgiving.
And unjust.
Hang on. As I explained to you earlier on, forgiveness is an aspect of His justice. You think justice is just so crude that, okay, a child steals a lollipop and you send that child eternity to hellfire. We don't believe this kind of justice. This is not justice. Justice is taking into account all conditions and situation and aspects and events of a person. What they're capable of, what they understand, what they don't understand, and so on and so forth. So sometimes justice actually is to be lenient on them. Justice demands that you are actually lenient and being merciful on them because of the situation they're on. That's justice.
That is
not
right.
Can I
So,
respond, please?
so I would like you to now define in
Yeah.
your system what is forgiveness
Yeah.
as opposed to payment, and give me an example where God forgives without any payment.
Right, okay. So I'm going to respond to him to say forgiveness is, someone can look up the definition, but forgiveness is when you overlook something or you pay for it, okay? But forgiveness is very different from justice. The scenario you've just described, where he said, so according to the hadith, for example, he says even if a man rapes a woman, it actually says that, they will be forgiven, they will have salvation. That, I would say, is a very unjust God, because guess what? I can go around raping people, and guess what? God is going to forgive me. I can go around doing what I want. I can go around killing people. Guess what? God is going to forgive me. So my response to that is, yes, what you've described is forgiveness, but it's injustice and it's evil. So the question I now have to you is that who determines the terms of justice? Who?
I'm still waiting for my answer that I asked.
I've given you the answer.
No, you haven't answered the question. I asked you, define
You don't like
forgiveness.
my answer.
No, you didn't answer.
But you need to respond to my question.
Listen. You need to answer the question that is asked. Define forgiveness and give an example where God forgives without payment. Did you hear that again? God forgives without payment, because that's the way.
I've given you an example where Allah of the Quran,
in your belief system,
because He says you can rape people, but yet go.
Where?
I'll give you the response.
And then you can answer the question. Define forgiveness and how God forgives without any payment.
Okay. So Sahih Bukhari, volume 7.
Read me the hadith.
So I'll give you the reference.
No, I don't want the reference.
I'll
want
give
you to
the
read the
reference.
hadith and I'll take the reference
Bukhari,
later on.
I'll give you the reference. Sahih Bukhari, volume. Someone can open there now, actually.
You read.
Sahih Bukhari, volume 7, book 72, number 717. He says, even if you rape someone, but you say the Shahada, you will enter the paradise.
Now, can you read the text?
I've summarized it.
Stop.
Read it. Someone open it and read it. I'm giving you the.
No.
Somebody
If you
open
bring
it.
No, brother, don't. Good. If you are going to say there is something hadith, I would like you to read the hadith in full, and then we'll discuss. I don't want
Someone open that hadith.
No. You bring an example, read it yourself, because the onus is
I've
on
told
you.
I've given you the reference.
I don't want the reference now. I want
I'll
you
give
to
the
make.
full hadith
No, if
next
you're gonna make a
week,
claim, not
but
next
I'm
week.
making a claim. I've given you the reference.
I don't want you. No. Don't be silly.
I've given you the
If you-
reference
no.
where it says you
Look,
can
look.
rape someone, but
Don't
if you
be
say
silly.
the shahada,
Don't be silly.
you will get into paradise.
Brother, one second. Don't
I've
be
given
silly.
you the reference. Go
If
and
you're
check
going
it
to,
out.
if you're gonna make a claim of something about hadith, read it in full, and I will check that in Arabic when you read the
I'm
English in full.
giving you
No,
the
I'm not
reference.
interested in the references.
I've given you the reference. Do you want to open the reference?
No, he's not. He's not
Okay.
gonna.
Okay, so you can go check out the reference.
No, I'm
Any
not gonna-
audience
so-
can go and check out the
so
reference.
don't, brother. one
I'm
second.
telling you, I've read it.
Do
and
not
I've
listen.
paraphrased it.
Do not bring in a discussion
I've given you the reference.
Listen, claims that you cannot substantiate by
Why
providing
don't you want him
evidence.
to open the reference?
He says he doesn't have internet.
Who else has got it? No one else has got it. Have you got internet? Okay, go to Sahih
Okay.
Bukhari.
Now,
Sahih Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari.
I'm not interested in anything. The lady is making a
Sahih
point.
Bukhari,
Let her establish her point.
Volume 7. Bukhari. Number 717.
Say again?
Number
Volume 7 or just 717?
No, volume 7.
Volume
Volume
7, you
7.
are good. Yeah.
Number 717.
Number
717. Yeah.
So that answers your question that in your Bible, in your belief system, God forgives without payment. Yeah?
No. In my belief system, God forgives within His justice.
This hadith answers my question that in your belief system,
No,
God
in my
forgives
belief
without payment.
I want to know. My belief system.
I want to
In my
know.
belief,
Forgive
God
without
forgives
payment.
with
No,
justice,
because He's
within
justice.
justice,
Excuse
because
me.
He's a just God.
Listen.
He's not an unjust God
You-
like Allah. Allah is an unjust God.
Excuse me.
He forgives whenever He wishes.
I asked you a question, which is, in your belief system, does God forgive without any payment? Or does He not forgive? Because forgiveness...
I've just said
Finish
to you,
the
no.
Bukhari one.
Yeah.
So what you say? So what number?
That better answer your
717.
question I asked.
Number 717. I'm going to answer it. So should I read it?
Sure.
Or do you want to read it?
I don't mind. What, all of it
Okay.
or part of it?
Yeah,
should
read
read
all
all
of
of
it.
it?
Read it, all of it. Yeah.
Okay, I came to the Prophet while he was wearing white clothes and
This is the
sleeping.
injustice of Allah, by the way. Go on. So,
Then I went back to him after he had got up from his sleep. He said, nobody says none has the right to be worshipped but Allah. And then later on he dies while believing in that, except that he will enter paradise. I said, even he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and theft. I said, even if he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and theft. He said, even if he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and theft. I said, even if he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and thefts.
okay. So,
Carry on, finish the whole thing.
Okay. He said, even if he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and theft, in spite of the Abu Dar's dislikeness. Abu Abdullah said, this is at the time of death or before it, if one repents and regrets and says, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, he will be forgiven his sins.
Okay. So this hadith clearly tells you that even people sin because they die on a state of affirming the oneness of Allah, oneness of God, they will enter in paradise. This is what we believe. You may be punished in hellfire for billions and trillions and zillions of years for your crime, but because of your belief that there is
But if you
none,
say the Shahada.
there is none worthy of worship except Allah alone, which is the key to paradise, you will enter paradise. But in between, you may be in hellfire, punished for all these things for millions and zillions of years. But the key to paradise is to worshipping Allah alone. So now,
respond?
before there's nothing to respond in here. This is the explanation.
well, you can't be talking at me. I need to
Slow down, slow down. The question I asked you is this. This hadith has not given me an answer for the question I asked. Does God forgive in your belief system without demanding any payment, and give me an example of that?
Okay. So I'm saying.
And obviously you haven't.
I'm going to respond, and I'm going to.
No, I don't want you to respond to this. I want you to respond to my question.
Yes. Your question is, does God forgive without any requirements of forgiveness? That will be an unjust God.
This is not what I asked.
So God does not forgive outside of his justice. And
so God doesn't forgive.
So then I've answered your question. I've got a question for you now.
No, you haven't answered.
No,
so
no,
basically,
I've got
God
a question
doesn't forgive.
for you. You need to know.
No, slow down.
That's not what I said.
What is forgiveness?
That is not what I said.
No,
what I said is that God does not forgive outside of his justice.
What is forgiveness?
So my question to you.
No, before you ask
my
it,
question to you
clarify
is that
again, because you have.
Allah.
Slow down,
since
lady.
Allah, no wait. Since
What is
Allah,
forgiveness?
I've answered your question.
You haven't answered the question.
I've got a question for you.
No, you just.
I've got a question.
should
Since Allah
contact it.
just
What is
forgives.
this?
Since Allah just forgives.
Excuse me.
This
I am confused at your definition of forgiveness.
Wait,
no,
please.
I am confused
at
at your definition of forgiveness.
I've got
you
a
need to before you ask. Before you ask, no, of course you will ask me a question. We agreed to that.
Did you understand my answer?
No. I am confused with the definition of forgiveness. In your definition of forgiveness, what is forgiveness?
You've asked me another question.
No, same question. Because I asked you a question
you need to answer my question,
which you did not answer.
I answered your question. I've got a question for you. Why don't you want to answer my question? Why are you scared of answering my question?
Be a woman of integrity and fairness.
I'm going to answer it again.
Excuse me.
I answered your question.
You have misunderstood forgiveness.
You asked, Mansur, can we ask questions?
Do you know what forgiveness is?
Mansur, listen.
No, how can we discuss a subject when you don't even know what it means?
Mansur, we need to be fair. We need to be fair. Do
you know the term forgiveness?
We need to be fair. You asked me a question because I don't want you dominating this. We have to be half and half. There's two people.
Did you answer my question?
I answered your question.
What did you say?
So therefore.
Can you repeat one more time?
No, I've repeated it. I'll repeat it again. Will you answer my question?
Yes. Once you
will you listen and answer my question?
I will, God willing, answer your question as agreed.
We need to be fair.
Once
I'm not
you
just to answer your question.
Listen,
you need to answer my question as well.
Are you not listening? Once you have finished answering my question, then we will move to your question to me. My question was about forgiveness. But it's very clear that you don't understand what forgiveness is. So now clarify what you understand by the word.
That was not your question.
Excuse me. No.
The
question I asked you is this.
The first question you asked, does God forgive? With that,
what is forgive? What is forgive?
No, the question you asked me was, does God forgive?
Do you know the key term, forgiveness?
Payment.
Excuse me.
Mansur.
Can I clarify my point? Look.
You said, does God forgive without requirement for payment?
Excuse me.
Was that what you asked me or not?
You clearly have not understood the key terms within the question. Now, this question has several key terms. God is one term. We understand what God is, right?
Mansur,
excuse me, let me finish.
Games and I'm not ready for these games.
Let me finish. A question has words in a sentence, right? Does God forgive without payment? So the word God has a meaning. What God is? Forgiveness or forgive? Can I finish?
Listen.
Excuse me.
Mansur,
excuse me.
What is your question?
My question is, when I have asked you a question, within the question I had several terms, key terms. If you fail to understand the key terms, you will answer it totally wrongly because you would not understand the question. Within my question, there are key terms. One is about.
No, Mansur, we're not going to do that. Seriously.
The one is about.
Mansur,
does God forgive without payment?
I've got a question.
Excuse me.
You need to. We've been here.
Lady,
you asked
lady.
Does God forgive without payment?
Lady,
what's your question?
You have not understood my question.
I'm going to put that question back to you.
No, you have not understood my question.
I'm going to put that question back.
My question has these key terms. Excuse me. Before you go.
No, wait. I'm going to put that question back. He doesn't.
Seashell Christian.
Sister, let's go.
Do you still feel that you need to debate about sadaqatin and sadafatin, or you are embarrassed enough to say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake?
I didn't make a mistake. You know that very well, and you are.
Let's debate it right now.
We are leaving right now.
No, let's debate it.
So I'm leaving right now. Get on the line. I'll speak to you another time.
So let's organize this debate.
You can see we're running away from this conversation. We're running away from answering questions. Listen. That is really pathetic. As we realize, excuse me. No. You just lied. You just lied.
Hate preachers.
You just lied.
These people are hate preachers.
So now, did you answer my question about God can forgive without payment? Of course not. So it is quite clear that you failed to answer for a reason. Why? Because in your belief there is no forgiveness. So my original claim is proven without a shadow of doubt that in Christianity there is no real forgiveness. Case closed. There is no real forgiveness in Christianity. So people, really, do you want to be a Christian? you will never be forgiven by God.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Okay? Come to Islam. Allah is all forgiving, all merciful. Even if you make mistakes repeatedly and sincerely turn to Allah again, Allah will look at your shortcomings and say,
Yes, Brother Mansur.
I can forgive you.
And also, Allah doesn't need a blood sacrifice. It's not a vampire. He doesn't need somebody to die and see blood.
Sincerely, just make sure.
Yeah, sincerely.
repent.
You have to sincerely turn to Allah in forgiveness, and Allah will forgive you.
And that's what you
This
call...
is the mercy of Allah and the justice of Allah.
Exactly. No innocent person needs to die. No blood needs to be seen. All you have to do is forgive. Oh, Allah forgive me. That's it. What's happening? You gonna do it or what?